welcome to Gaming Friday here on Off the Shelf Reviews. I'm Gary.
And I'm Ian.
And today, Ian, we are playing WWF Attitude.
Oh, hell yeah!
I guess you can dig it.
Man, I fucking dig this shit. Check this shit out. This is like the epitome of my childhood right now.
I hear you. I hear you. This is prime World Wrestling Federation. This is back when it was the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah.
This, for me, is the prime era of wrestling. This was when I was a fan of the show. This was when I tuned in every week for Raw and SmackDown to catch up with my favorite superstars, seeing what they were getting up to. And this game, which was the last wrestling game to be made by Acclaim Entertainment way back in 1999.
Whoa.
So yeah, it takes us back quite a bit because a lot of the wrestlers in this game are not wrestling anymore.
Nope, they're either retired or they're working in the back. You know, they well, actually saying that, most of them probably retired. I mean, we've probably got Undertaker. Undertaker is the only one who's still probably active in the ring. Yeah, it's Triple H.
Triple H, Kane.
Yeah, Kane doing a thing every now and again.
Mark Henry, I believe, was there.
Mark Henry, but you know they're not as big. There we go, dedicated to the one and only Owen Hart.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of the ones from the Attitude Era, yeah, they're just kind of starting to no, I wouldn't say burn out. They're just starting to take a step back now, letting new guys come in. You know, you got all the new stars, up and coming stars from NXT coming up into the WWE roster. You know, and so it's nowadays the NXT stuff is like what the Attitude Era was doing back then.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day where Austin 1996 King of the Ring with his ultimate line, he kind of started it. Then you had The Rock coming out and doing all of his personas. You know, the Undertaker
Some
was
real characters.
Oh yeah, look at this lineup. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin, we got Mankind or Cactus Jack or Dude Love. Obviously we haven't got it all unlocked because we've just loaded this game up.
Yeah,
we got the legendary Owen Hart. Triple H, what's he up to nowadays? Oh wait, he's the face of $1 million fucking company. You know, D'Lo Brown. I think he went on to TNA.
Disappeared.
Yeah, the Rock. I've seen him in a few films, haven't I?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was in that crappy Doom movie.
Oh yeah, and that earthquake film. Then you got Bradshaw, Farouk, Kane, the immortal fucking Undertaker.
Hey, Goldust is still around.
Goldust is still around. His brother Cody Rhodes is obviously doing his Stardust persona at the moment. They tragically lost their father, Dusty Rhodes, last year. But I mean, fucking
famous wrestler.
Dusty Rhodes, famous. X-Pac, he's in a porno.
I didn't know that.
Just go chug that out there.
Wasn't China as well?
Yeah, he was in China in the porno.
Oh, right, there we go then.
You got Too Sexy, you got Thrasher, Mosh, the Headbangers. Fucking hell, that's old school.
Man, you're making me feel old.
Yeah, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg. You want to see old? Road Dogg Jesse James is now a shirt-wearing, tie-wearing, you know, corporate businessman working with Triple H.
I remember when these guys were totally anti-establishment, you know, just...
Yeah. They all just wanted to fight against Edge. I mean,
Val
fucking
Venus.
Edge.
Oh my god, I can't remember these names.
Man, do you know what Val Venus does? I only found this out recently when I was looking through online. Val Venus now owns a weed selling shop in America.
Really?
Yeah, he sells weed. He sells
Look at that face.
Look at that face, children. You'll buy weed from me. Edge, obviously,
one of my favorites,
multiple-time champion. You know, tragically, obviously, had to retire because of the injuries.
After a neck injury, was it?
Yeah, well, he had a lot of operations. But I mean, if you've seen any of the TLC matches he had with the Dudley Boys
and the Hardys,
Dr. Death Steve Williams, another classic. Gangrel, who was a vampire.
It made me laugh that there's actually a trademark or a copyright thing on the title of this game, saying that Gangrel was part of White Wolf Publishing.
Yeah,
I was like, that's fun. Oh Snow!
Oh Snow! The Godfather just went into the Hall of Fame. Pimpin' ain't easy. The Big Boss Man just went into the Hall of Fame too. Yeah. Christian.
Forgotten after Edge and Christian split up, went their separate ways, but they were a great tag team.
That's it. I mean, obviously, this is just your lineup at the moment, and there were multiple characters to unlock.
Plus the creator
character mode, which obviously we haven't done, but I mean, this was one of the first games that had that.
I think the one
it was
previous
in
to this
Warzone
had it
as
yeah.
well, but it wasn't as in depth. This one
That's
was
right.
kind of more fun because it let you do your own intros,
That's right.
your own pay-per-views.
Well, this game was, like I said, it's the last game by Acclaim Entertainment before the WWF went on to THQ, and subsequently THQ would make all the WWF/WWE games there onwards until THQ's closure a few years ago. But Warzone, which was also obviously made by Acclaim, came out in 1996, so 4 years prior to this one, and that one also did have, you know, small limited amounts of creating a character. But what this one did, which for me made this probably my favorite wrestling game for a long time before, I think it was either one of the Raw or SmackDown games, which eventually steal the limelight, was that this game introduced create a stable.
Yes.
So that you could actually go, you know what, I want The Rock, Triple H, and Mankind to form their own stable. So that if you got into a career match, you know, all of a sudden one of those wrestlers would come down to ringside and help you out. You know, you'd have them all as an intro together. And also on top of that, you had your create a wrestler, but you also had created intros so that you could choose your Titantron video, the music, and of course, so you could create a character and then have the Undertaker's music if you wanted. But a great thing is the game added its own repertoire of unknown music for you to use. I mean, this was long before, you know, where you could have music on your console that you could then
use
copy for your intro in yourself. But they did a great job with this. But one of the other fantastic features about the game, which I always found the thing that kept me coming back and playing again with friends and family, was the create a pay-per-view. So once you'd done the game, you could create your own alternate wrestling universe within the Attitude Era. And what's so great is that there are more than 20 different match types in this game. More than just your simple first one for pinfall.
That's it. I'm playing a hardcore match at the moment. I really wish I could remember the controls.
So you're playing a hardcore match, so you can grab chairs, and suitcases, and ring bells, and
okay, get this ring bell, Mankind. Boom, bitch! I'll fucking kill you. Oh god, it's been so long since I played this. I played so many wrestling games. I'm trying to remember the controls. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do what we all used to do back in the day and go through the moves list.
No, actually, I never did that.
Really? No. I did it all the time.
It was always a case of pressing buttons till I figured out what did what.
Really?
And then that was it.
Man.
And then I was sorted.
I could never do that.
I mean, if I remember
rightly, I go for the chokeslam.
Damn!
Boom! I'm happy now. I've done the chokeslam.
Most of the moves were really revolved around pressing one button to tie up,
then
pressing a different coloured button and a different direction on the D-pad, all related to different moves, depending on whether you grabbed them while they were laying on the floor, whether you grabbed them from behind or from the front, or whether they're at the in the corner of the ring apron.
Stand still, motherfucker! You're dodging this. Oh, I got you first.
But what we can say, which is is pretty fair to say, this game now looks pretty damn ugly. The fact that it's now 17 years old as of this recording, it's starting to look pretty ugly. But there was so much fun to be had in this game.
Oh, this is it. Back in the day, this was literally the only other. I mean, you had this and possibly WCW Nitro or WCW Backstage Assault, I think it was, and and obviously WWF and WCW were having their big
corporate rivalries,
Monday Night Wars. So you only bought one. You didn't buy both. And most of the time, WWF Attitude won because the WCW games weren't that great.
No.
You know?
I mean, after the WWF left Acclaim behind, Acclaim would continue to make more wrestling games just using this game engine.
This same game for ECW.
ECW Hardcore Revolution and ECW Anarchy Rules.
Yeah, Anarchy Rules is pretty shit, but ECW Hardcore Revolution, I think, was the first one. That was pretty good because, barbed wire matches, fucking First Blood, Hardcore, and it was just like, oh, fuck it, we're just going to cut each other up.
Well, that was kind of a thing that ECW was sort of leading in, which Attitude sort of dabbled into a little bit.
But not so much. I mean, the WWF would go on to do WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy on the 64, and those games were phenomenal.
Well, this game was also released on the PlayStation, the N64, had an updated version on the Sega Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And there was a portable version on the Game Boy Color, I think.
Yeah.
But for me, this was the PlayStation game. I was a PlayStation guy.
Yeah.
And this game spent a lot of time in the machine, in the console.
Yeah. I played
just
this a lot.
Just because of the creating characters, creating wrestlers, and then the career mode, which was brilliant. Now, the career mode in the game was edited slightly, where the game makers intended for there to be a load of jobbers, essentially, that you would fight against before you eventually made it to Raw and SmackDown, before eventually working your way up through the pay-per-views, before you'd eventually go for the tag team, intercontinental, or heavyweight championship matches, and then you'd have times where you'd have to defend them on Raws and SmackDowns before you went to each and every pay-per-view, which was exciting.
Yes.
It was, they didn't have that many backstage environments or things like that. That would eventually come in the SmackDown and Raw games with THQ. But the groundwork for that being set up was in this game, and of course from the actual WWF Network television show.
Yeah.
With all the backstage stuff that was going on, especially in the Attitude Era, was just made for a great career mode, because it was also, it was different. They threw things at you which did happen in the show.
Yeah.
And they also threw things at you which were unexpected, and you would never know whether you were going to have a rivalry with The Rock or with The Undertaker, or whether your character was going to be a heel or a face. It just,
I remember in Warzone, it was just a case of a bunch of TVs, and it had a bunch of the wrestlers' faces on, and that was the kind of route that you took to face them. Yeah. And then you had the grudge matches, and every now and again, somebody you'd already beaten would come back and be like, hey, you got to beat me again if you want to get to the championship. And in this one, it was literally like, I remember it was like you were kind of working for the company. Yeah. It was like, right, you've got to do Sunday Night Heat, and then you've got to get the Superstars, and then you've got to get to fucking... you got to get to Raw, and you got to get to In Your House, and then you're going all the way to WrestleMania, and you're like, fucking hell, these guys are working a hell of a lot. I didn't think it was as easy as I thought it was.
Well, this is one of those games which is essential to have a memory card, so that you can sort of keep your career progression and story interactivities and all your pay-per-views and everything that you make, because it all goes onto that one save file, so everything on there keeps changing. And it's great.
Man, fuck this. I'm stuck in this ring. Mankind is beating the shit out of me. I'm like, I'm the Undertaker. I'm supposed to be beating the crap out of you, Mankind, and I missed. Oh, I got you that time. I'm going to take you outside in a minute. Because I remember if you go outside...
Yeah. You used to be able to pull weapons from underneath the ring.
Oh, it was more the damage ratio. Obviously, you have to get them to red to be able to pull off the finishers.
Yeah.
And
guarantee easier pins.
Yeah,
and this is also, this was also one of those very button mashy games when it came to doing finishing moves or trying to get out of being pinned or getting out of submission holds.
I used to tap like a motherfucker. I mean, look at this. My guy's just whipping me back. I'm like, 15 years ago, I'd have kicked your ass. Now I'm like, what the buttons? What's the buttons?
Oh, he's tied you up
He's
again.
tied me a tree and whoa. He's beating the crap out of me. Fuck you, Mankind.
Well, it's also interesting to note that there's two very particular wrestlers in this game, which we looked at. One of the best tag teams in the WWE industry just now, which was Edge and Christian.
Yeah.
One of their biggest rivals was the Hardy Boys.
Yes.
Who don't have an appearance in this game, not even as unlockables.
Well, I suppose
the thing is, all of their assets are in the game.
Yeah.
Including music, including their facial likeness. But they're all spread out amongst all the Create a Wrestler sort of outfits, so you'd have to go through and then know them in order to put them together.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to know that the Hardy Boys did pretty much all the mocap for the game. They did all the moves, which were then put into the game, and so it was like, well, how did you leave them out of the game? Did they have a bad contract somewhere?
No, I think it was a case of, they probably just joined the company. They were working their way up. And, you look at the lineup that we just looked at, there's a lot of bigger name superstars on there who
are not even there.
Who at the time, the Hardy Boys had only just started.
Right, yeah.
Like we said, Edge and Christian went on to have great matches with them.
Yeah.
But that was long after. That was long after this game had come out. It was more in the No Mercy,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
WrestleMania 2000 kind of set of games.
Well, it's also because it also confuses me coming back to this now and realizing that Shane McMahon is a commentator doing commentary for the game.
He's on
commentary. Did he ever do commentary for the WWF?
Yeah, he's done. I mean, he kind of did the same thing as his dad. You know, at the time, Vince McMahon, back before obviously he was the forefront of the company, was on the commentary. So it's kind of like a thing of, look, Shane, you know, you kind of got to do what I did. You've got to get out there. You've got to, and he did a little bit in the background, and then he would go on to become, hey, look, I'm Shane McMahon. I'm going to join the corporate ministry. I'm going to make the corporation, and you know, we're going to own you backstage. So a little bit. I mean, I was very surprised by this game coming out because in Warzone it was Vince and JR.
Yes.
And now it's and now it's Shane and the King.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, where's the King and JR?
That's
what
the best,
you want.
Yeah, that's the best coupling for commentators that the WWF have ever had. I think all the other commentators are vastly inferior in quality, especially with what they have to say.
They've got to be obviously PG, but at the same time, it's because, you know, people get so used to liking one thing, they're not willing on trying something new. I like the new commentators. I like Michael Cole and JBO and
Michael Cole's come quite a long way, and
very
Booker T,
long way.
I think he's taken so many smacks to the head that all he does is sit there and go. He makes no sense.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the same time, with the career, it's not like they can just get a job selling car insurance. You know, It's like, wrestling has been my life. I'm going to stay in this company. And, I mean, yeah, but he's five-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Sorry, I just had to check that.
You had to say it 5 times as well.
Man,
I hated that guy.
Look at those 2D spectators. Oh, wow.
Well, at least some of them are moving faster than Undertaker these days.
Man, that's harsh. That's harsh. You don't say that shit.
Well, we've got to bring it up, but it was what, WrestleMania 32?
Yep, just recently. Yep, WrestleMania 32.
So I think it's safe to say that Undertaker's now has wrestled at more WrestleManias than any other wrestler.
I think the only other person close to him is Triple H.
Possibly so. And so, what were your thoughts on the most recent WrestleMania?
I mean, I'm kind of really biased. I love the wrestling events, all of them. I mean, yes, you can dictate about how bad matches are, and how badly portrayed and creative have put certain characters in.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, I've gotten to the age now where I respect them. You know, I've seen a lot of them do a lot of shit, and I really loved the women's championship match between Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Bailey. Is it Bailey? No, it was the other woman. Sorry,
okay.
I've completely forgotten her name. But their female match was good because it just showed that the women have come a long way. They're actually trying to wrestle like the guys. They're trying to get the respect that the guys have got. You know, the main heavyweight championship match between Roman Reigns and Triple H, I had no thoughts of Triple H maintaining the title.
Yeah.
You know, Roman Reigns was going to win it.
Is he now the record holder for the longest reign of championship over a period of time?
No.
Not in a single sitting, but...
No, Ric Flair still owns the 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. Triple H is 14-time World Heavyweight Champion, I believe.
Right.
I could be wrong.
But I mean, not the amount of times that he's won the belt, but for the length of time he's retained the championship.
I think CM Punk still holds the longest with over 300 days. And CM Punk was pretty goddamn amazing.
I think Triple H has got that beat.
No, I don't think so. Triple H has never held it longer than a year.
Yeah, no, I mean cumulative, like over a period of the amount of times he's had the championship.
Oh, man, I can't work that one out.
Not in a single holding of the belt.
Right. I mean, this is it. The fans didn't want Roman Reigns having the championship.
I didn't want him to have the championship. You know what? I mean, I can chime in here because I actually watched this WrestleMania. It's the first wrestle event I've watched since the end of the Attitude Era, and so I'm looking at like a 15-year break from wrestling.
Yeah.
And then it was like, you know, Triple H is main eventing at WrestleMania. I was like, well, he was my favorite wrestler. I watched his entire career from fledgling jobber all the way up to the master of DX to the marrying the daughter of the company and becoming the champion for over a year, undefeated, despite the fact that he had Road Dogg and X-Pac and everyone else intervening on his behalf. But I watched Triple H go from a jobber to someone who could beat Mankind fairly in a one-on-one. He beat Stone Cold one-on-one fairly.
Yeah.
He beat The Rock one-on-one fairly.
You say fairly with Triple H. I think that's pushing it a bit much.
No, I'm telling. Well, he beat them all.
Oh,
he beat them all. The only one he never beat was The Undertaker.
Yeah.
For Triple H. So I've, and then I was like, I'm happy I followed that story. I followed all these other characters.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to come back and watch this WrestleMania. And it was so disappointing. It had its flair, it had its moments, but it was just...
But what were you really expecting? What did you want from the match? I just wanted
a great show. I wanted to be entertained by the show. And
I mean, I was entertained. I cannot take anything away from Roman Reigns being a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, he looks the part.
He's a phenomenal athlete, and a lot of people complain about is, all he's got is like the Superman punch and the spear and the running leg drop and this, that, and the next thing. And I'm like, right, okay, Stone Cold, all he had was the Lou Thesz press and the mud hole stomping.
I've seen Triple H take Stone Cold's, finishing move. I've seen him get tombstoned. I've seen him be pole driver. I've seen him take some of the worst shots anyone could throw at him, and he gets back up.
Yeah.
Where Roman Reigns speared him, and it was a 1-2-3 count, and I was like, really? I've watched Triple H get pedigreed. He's his own finishing move done on him through a table, and he got back up before a 3 count. And so a spear finished him. I was just like,
Well, but this is the thing. The WrestleMania had already gone over half an hour, maybe 40 minutes than they should have.
What, do you reckon they were told to finish quickly?
Was it the fact
possibly.
The
Undertaker match took so long because it took so long for them to wheel Undertaker down to the ring.
Wheel him down the ring? Don't you say that shit around me, fool! Don't you say that shit? I'm gonna beat.
I don't know. I saw the dead man drooling all over Shane McMahon in that match.
Oh man, he was getting choked out at one point. He was getting choked out.
Those holds, those submission holds, looked so naff. I was watching The Undertaker holding Shane, and he was trying to reach over to grab his foot, and I was just like, what are you doing? It just looked so sloppy. It didn't look like they were putting each other in submission holds. It looked like they were giving each other time to go, are you okay, man?
Yeah, but
take a quick breath.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, this is the thing that contradicts, is that fans go...
I have total respect for The Undertaker and his career.
Fans go, we want this guy back, like Stone Cold. We want Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the ring for one match. Do you know how old Stone Cold Steve Austin is?
He's in his late 40s now.
Well, probably a bit more than that. Unless he goes to the gym constantly, he will not be able to stay up with some of the younger guys.
No, they'll
people
look
like
bad
Finn
then,
Balor, Samoa Joe. You've got, like we said, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, even people like Brock Lesnar, who's a UFC champion and spends a lot of time in the gym. He has a hard time going in for a long time, and he just goes into the match. German at the moment. I mean, people complain about wrestlers not having that many moves. Brock Lesnar suplexes,
and that's it.
Yeah. Suplex, F5, match is over. And everyone goes, Brock Lesnar's amazing. I'm like, really? I didn't like Brock Lesnar when he first came in because that's all he did.
Yeah, and he just destroyed the entire roster.
Yeah, and now he comes back. And like I said, I've got respect for him because he's gotten over so much. But the fact that he comes into a match, he German suplexes the person like 8 or 9 times, and people cheer for it. Yeah. And then they've got those same people have the audacity to turn around when Roman Reigns comes down and actually does a lot more and boo him out the building. Who the fuck do you think you are? This Roman Reigns works very fucking hard, gets up extra early, spends 300 days away from his family, traveling for a company that he doesn't have to work for, but he wants and the reason he gets put into main events is because he works with the company, he's respectful, he does everything that they want from a professional athlete.
I could see him as the next Triple H, I mean, he has the persona, or he has the charisma, and he has the physique and look.
But that's the issue
of a star.
But that's the issue, is that you say, I can see him as the next Triple H, and then when he does do that, people will go, oh, he's just being Triple H. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, make him your mind. He does his own thing, you don't like it. He does the thing that you want him to do, you don't like it. Why will you make up who do you want to hold the title? I'll give it to Dean Ambrose. Okay, they give it to Dean Ambrose. Now we want Seth Rollins to have the championship. So they give it to Seth Rollins. No, we want Brock Lesnar to hold champion. They give it to Brock Lesnar. And it just keeps fun. What I love is the fact that WWE not only keep up with what they hear on the internet and things like that.
Yeah.
But they also throw in a curveball.
Well, yeah, and I've always questioned some of the writing talents of the WWE anyway, especially some of the decisions they make.
Oh,
because you'll have in a main event, a championship will be won, and then the very next night it's stolen from whoever anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, really? So,
but this is it. It's just to keep the story. We know it's all a story.
Yeah,
we know it's all
course,
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna be real honest, those championships really don't mean anything.
No.
In wrestling, where obviously most of it is pre-scripted.
Yeah.
It's all done to safety.
The who's going to win and who's going to lose, and obviously some of the spots
that
they're going to pull off.
Yeah.
Are all set. But then the rest of it is, you've trained, you're a performer.
Yeah.
Get out there and put on a show.
But for true wrestling fans. Like myself who look back through all of it. I mean, I watch more stuff on the network than I watch TV. People go, you should watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, fuck you. I'm watching King of the Ring 97.
I can tell you, I signed up for the 1 month free subscription for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And as nice as the email from Vince McMahon was saying thank you for watching WrestleMania,
my
subscription will be ending before it runs out.
Yeah. Well, obviously, some people won't get out of it. What I get out of it. I mean, I'll sit there and watch all of the ECW matches. But going back to what I was saying about the championship, I mean, the championship, like I said, doesn't have that much, but I respect it. Why? Because it's got a history. Yeah. It's got a lineage. We're talking about wrestling matches and families that have been around for now 50, 60, 70. There's going to be a point in the future where wrestling is going to be around for 100 years.
Yeah.
And 101,000 people went to see WrestleMania.
That number 32, wasn't it?
Right, Wrestle 32.
It was a fantastic turnout.
When they put on a show, it looks nice. Yes, some of it doesn't come across as amazingly as you kind of hope it would.
Yep.
But still, you're there for the spectacle.
The thing is, it's like the spectacle is there, and it is great to see these things. But when I looked at the ladder match, I was watching all of these spots, and the thing is that they were all telegraphed.
Oh yeah, majorly.
Whereas beforehand, when I remember watching, say, the Dudleys and the Hardys and Edge and Christian and their TLC matches, none of that seemed particularly scripted.
No, they actually said that in the documentaries. They sat backstage and went, look, we should do this, we should do that. Yeah, okay. The Dudleys are well experienced in extreme stuff, and the Hardys and Edge and Christian are well athletic, so they could pull off some stuff. By
today's standards, it just seemed all very safe.
Yes, it is, because you have somebody like Edge, phenomenal athlete, has to retire because of injuries.
I understand that, but
the Hardy Boys
just seems anticlimactic now as a result of the Attitude Era, which is again why I tuned out. Because
the Hardy Boys, have been kind of fired from WWE and other companies because of drugs.
Yeah.
To get over the pain of some of the things that they got in some of the matches. You get your good sides.
Yeah.
You get your bad sides. I mean, fucking hell, Triple H, you just bring me out of the ring. I mean, I always harken back to Mankind and Undertaker, King of the Ring 1998.
Yes.
Phenomenal match, one of the biggest things ever. They planned that.
Yeah.
But they didn't plan all of it. The cage collapsed. That could have killed Mankind. That could have killed him. And people would have cheered.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, case in point, the Shane Undertaker WrestleMania event was also staged. I mean, to the point where there was only one corner of the cage that had handholds and footholds in it. I was looking at it, I was like, you can clearly see where the handholds are for people to climb up that thing.
Yeah, but there's handholds at the front as well. They have some at the front, they have some at the back. It depends on where you want to climb.
Where you decide to climb.
Where you decide to climb. I mean, they all have it. But like we said, with Mankind, there was the spot with Mankind, Shawn Michaels, and Stone Cold coming
For
out.
me, that was my favourite stint of the whole night. It was like,
Yeah.
look at these old bastards come out onto the stage.
Yeah.
You know, each one of these has just got a legacy of their own.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was great for them to come out and dance and have beers and
Yeah, they
and
were.
give the fuck you to the crowd and beat
But-
up on these goons.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, but that's it. You're doing it for the old ones because the
You
newer
wanted
guys.
to see sweet chin music, you know, you wanted
the
to
newer
see
guys,
the Socko.
yeah, the newer guys love the New Day. You know,
Yeah.
they think they're absolutely amazing, and the New Day. But that's it. As a wrestler, that must be such a great moment. You know, these are the guys that you look up to.
I mean, but at the same time, you get these new wrestlers that are in the prime.
Yeah.
And then you get these old bastards that come in and just go, wah, bang, one move, and you are out cold, flat, done.
Yeah, because that's
And
what
it's
people
like-
remember.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's like The Rock. What did you think of The Rock's appearance? Him coming out at WrestleMania 32.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
'cause obviously,
everyone knew The Rock was going to turn up.
I was waiting for him to. I thought he was going to be the host of WrestleMania. I
yeah.
would have liked it if he had been the host of WrestleMania. When he came out, I knew it was all a bit of a big show. I mean, it was a bit much with the flamethrower and stuff.
Just a bit.
The Wyatts coming down.
But he destroys them.
Yes, yeah, but it's also a kind of a case of, you know, like I said, Bray Wyatt, unless Bray Wyatt purposely goes on Facebook and goes, man, I fucking quit WWE because they put me in such a shit spot and my character's getting fucked over. Hell, I would pay money to be in the ring with The Rock and get rock bottom in the in front of 101,000 people. You know,
But it was the fact that it was like, so you've got this wrestler who's wrestling day in, day out, and then you get this ex-wrestler come in and flattens you in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But that's
wow,
yes. But
that's
if you know,
just destroyed your...
no, because if you know the history to wrestling, that's what you do. You pay respect to the guys who have come forward. Before, I mean, if you look at with Triple H when he was younger, he was getting nailed by some of the older guys. He had to ask for permission to have the stuff he was able to do because backstage there's a lot of politics, and
Of course,
you've got to work with the politics. If you don't, then you might as well join another company.
A lot of the wrestlers did do that.
Yeah, they did do that, and those companies aren't there anymore.
That's true. Well, they ended up being purchased and ended up coming back to the family of WWE
That's
anyway.
it. But you've got to learn with the rules. I mean, people can say what they want about Vince McMahon, but he's did his own thing and stuck to the historic nature of wrestling. You know, yes, he owns it. He owns wrestling at the moment, but he still turns around and says, "Look, we've got the Hall of Fame." If you ever watch the Hall of Fame, I get emotional every time I watch it because I'm just like, man,
because these are real people too.
Yeah,
these are the, you know. It's,
yeah, I'd love to be traveling with them, hear their road stories, you know, find out how
the dramas,
how they
that went
survived
on.
300 days away from their families, not seeing their children, things like that. You know, people forget they are just playing characters, but they are real people too.
Yeah.
You know, The Rock's got to make a paycheck. People still scream when he comes out. People still love it when he pulls off that elbow.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who he does it to.
No,
as long as he fucking does it, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of both of you. They're fucking beating on me now. Man, I love wrestling. I can't wait for the next WrestleMania, and I'm gonna be watching all through this year to see where it goes. I love going on the internet and reading all the communities of people saying, "Oh, I could do this better, I could do that better," and I'm like, but you're not.
No,
you're not.
No.
You get those same people who go, I'm not buying I'm not paying for this anymore, I'm not watching this anymore, and yet they're there the next week.
The subscriptions I believe are still going up and up for the network.
They're there in the next week, watching the next show, downloading it illegally, buying the DVDs, getting the T-shirts and all that stuff, and still complaining that they could do better. And I'm like, well, go ahead.
Yep. I mean, for everyone that said wrestling is fake and wrestling is corny and wrestling's bad, you know, the money's still going there. So you know, people are still tuning in and people are still loving these characters.
Definitely.
And you know, I don't want to say I've grown out of wrestling. I've kind of
just watched WrestleMania 32.
I just watched WrestleMania 32, but I mean that's after a 15-year break from you know. But occasionally I keep up with what's going on because there were such colourful characters, and it's kind of like taking an extended break from your favourite soap opera, if you will.
Yes.
And so it was just interesting to see what was going on and seeing how these careers have developed and seeing what's just keeping up to date with it. It's always interesting. But this was one of my favorite games back on the PlayStation. One of my favorite wrestling games of all time, because it enabled you to play with all of these colorful characters and do all of these signature moves.
Yeah, that you were never able to do before. I mean, like I said, there were so many games back in the day. WrestleMania Arcade, WrestleFest, in your house. But this one allowed you to say, hey, you want to be a wrestler? Create a star, fight Triple H, go for the championship, go in the Royal Rumble, try and survive, and all that kind of stuff.
Do the King of the Ring,
you know,
Survivor Series.
15-year-old boys all sat around going, and your parents going, go outside and get some fresh air. You're like, no, I've got to win my championship.
No, I'm going to create the next pay-per-view.
I've got to do the... yeah. Come on, Triple. Come on, Rock. Get up. I want to hit you with the stunner before the end of this video. Come on. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. You done? Right. Stone Cold Stunner. Up, down, up, circle. They usually all...
These moves are pretty complicated compared to how I...
Yeah. Oh, come on. I've got to get him at that. They're both on red as well. Can I...
You did set this up for a... Was this a fatal three-way or is it a triple threat?
Oh, you hit him with the stunner! Stunner!
Nice.
Stunner! No,
you need to do the taunt.
Go for the pin.
He's gonna break it up.
No, he's not.
Break it up.
No,
he is. He's gonna break it up. You gotta finish them both, dude.
I gotta
finish them both.
The Rock is completely out. I can't. There we go. I need to change to Triple H. I can't remember what the button is to change. I think it's one of the shoulder buttons. I'm gonna try and change it. There, no, I'm climbing out of the ring. Climbing out of the ring. Oh no! The Rock's gonna go pin Triple H.
Really not going the way.
No, he's gonna go for the pin. Fuck you, Triple H. Come on, Austin. Go on, get in the ring.
Spamming those buttons.
Keep spamming those buttons.
I thought he was gonna do the pedigree then. Nope.
I'm still aiming for the Rock.
Just looking at this now, it was one of those when if you hooked someone up in this game and started doing your move, the other player could not interrupt those moves. It was definitely something I remember coming in the later games.
Yeah, it's just up. No, good. Come on. Don't wrist lock. Fucking wrist lock. Oh, the timer. The timer went out.
The timer?
I think I didn't set a timer.
Damn.
Stone Cold wins by most damage.
Have you ever seen a wrestling match end by most damage? Ever?
No, that was so crazy. The winner of this match, a new champion, because he did more damage than the other guy.
All right, well that's all from us here at Off the Shelf Reviews This Game on Friday. Just want to say thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Film reviews on Thursdays, more gaming on Fridays, sequentials on Saturdays. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. Take it easy, everyone. See you next time.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Ian said so.